Just a couple of more things as we get near the end of this interview. We always, I know how political you are, and the things that you speak about at BillyMilano.com, and you're very insightful with your politics and things like that. And we have to talk a little bit about the presidential election going on this year. I don't even think I'm bold enough to ask you who you're going for, who you may vote for, but if you can, summarize for us a little bit about your feelings on how you feel maybe about the candidates, and do you feel optimistic at all, or do you kind of feel like we're not in a good place now, and maybe it might not get better?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. There is no more, as far as I'm concerned as an adult and my awareness level at this point in my life, there is no more voting for the lesser of two evils. There is just the two evils. And they're both part of the political machine that knows no citizenship for anyone and answers to no one. Therefore, I have to honestly say, whether he's on the bill or not, or on the ticket, I'm voting for Ron Paul regardless. At least then, at that given moment, I honestly believe that my vote will mean something. I am voting for dissension, and that's what I believe in at this point in this political game. I will say this, and this is the thing that most troubles me about this political charade that's being played on TV. I think it's the absolute duty of our political leaders to sit down and negotiate with foreign entities in good faith. Whether they adhere to it or not, they still have to go in absolutely open-minded, especially as one of the world's last superpowers. We are a hyperpower at this point, but we are one of the last superpowers of the world. Even though we've played it out so that we're going to wind up basically being the world police, for lack of a better thing to acknowledge, through the UN guidelines, mind you, I honestly believe that this playing of the hysteric card, hysteria, is insulting to the people of this country. What's more troubling, though, is that no one is calling them out on it. Look, I don't give let's just speak honestly here. I don't give a if Obama is Muslim. I don't even if he's black. What are you going to do? I don't give a about your pastor unless he's going to be your vice president. I mean, look at Dick Cheney. This guy's a bloodsucker. What the are they complaining about a guy that's got some gripe against white people who probably grew up in a time when people didn't like him? You know? He's not the guy that I'm voting for if I vote for Obama. And it's the same with Hillary Clinton. She's got this plan for health care. She's going to ruin the most perfectly run healthcare system in the world. We have less than 11% people of this country not on healthcare. Socialized medicine doesn't mean everyone's getting medical treatment. And that's the thing. And she wants to force people who are already cash stripped and have the inability to not only pay their mortgages, but to feed their families. She wants to force them into a system that makes them pay for health care, but it excludes people with diabetes, people with AIDS, people who are overweight, people who have heart conditions, and people who are elderly. How is that universal health care? It's not. It's a facade they're using to go back and forth and banter about why they plan this big invasion on Iran or Iran. And I don't agree with it. And you know what? I don't agree with Iran or Iran or Syria threatening Israel. In the same breath, I'm not voting for the president of Israel. I'm voting for the president of America. And our stakes at hand here in this country are too important at this stage in the game.
Thank you very much for that candid piece. I knew I could expect nothing less from you, Billy. Any last words before we close out? I think we got a minute left. Any last words you want to share with your fans in San Antonio and people around the world who will see this interview later on YouTube?
Well, I'd just like to say this. If you don't have an opinion, then your vote doesn't count. Thomas Jefferson once said, one man with an opinion is in a majority. And that's very, very valid. One man can educate millions. And if you don't put yourself in a position to educate, then complaining is for naught. That's all.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you, as always, for your candor and all your great words. This interview will live on for many, many years beyond today. Remember, San Antonio, you saw the man, Billy Milano. If you want to hear all his antics and his words, just go to BillyMilano.com. You can definitely also find him on MySpace. Remember, his brand new CD is already out on the streets. It's killer, man. It's called The Red, White, and Screwed. Be sure to go out there and pick it up. You saw the man, Billy Milano, only right here on Rob's MetalWorks.